One. What is going on, everyone? Episode 102. We are back. There's been a lot of sports going on, and we're going to try to keep it as concise, brief, and fun for you guys as possible.
A lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack. How you guys doing?
Good. Excited to be back. Yeah, it's definitely one of those episodes where it's filled to the brim. We're probably gonna run out of stuff.
Yeah. We'll try to make these topics semi-brief. Let's get right into it. We got NBA Coaching Carousel. We got 5 records broken since 2020. It's going to be a fun segment to talk about. Madness is over. March Madness, all done. Quick baseball update. And then I guess, Chase, if you have anything at the end for some NASCAR quickly.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. NBA Coaching Carousel. I think we all thought the Grizzlies was kind of crazy when that happened. And then you now have the Nuggets.
Yep.
Canning Malone, which seems like pretty crazy out of the blue. 4 games before the playoffs. They already said, too, the GM's not coming back. Jokic's only coach since he's been in the NBA.
The defending champs.
Or,
I'm sorry.
Like,
2 years ago.
As a coach, like, got to feel like you don't have any job security unless you're Greg Popovich or,
Nick
Steve
Nurse.
Kerr.
Yeah. And this has been a trend too, where it's like coaches that win, they're fired not long after. It's like what happened in Milwaukee with Budenholzer. How quick was that? I think that was a year after, or was something immediate, following success. So yeah, these teams seem really quick to just totally get rid of the coaching. And I never heard anything about Malone that was like overly bad or overly good. It just seemed like he knew how to get them in a position. He was there for a long time too, which is also kind of surprising that he just kind of gets kicked out the door the way he did. So
Yeah. On the footsteps of a potential another MVP season for Jokic. I know the Celtics won last year. I cleared that from my memory as fast as I could. But yeah, the Nuggets won 2 years ago. They essentially have the same core. I mean, Gordon, Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael MPJ. Right? Yeah.
Zeke Nash has been on there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, basically their core team, and they've been good the last 5 years, and Jokic is playing at the same level he's been playing the entire time. So it's just really odd to me. I mean, they're a likable team. I'm not a huge Jokic fan, but you got to like the team, the coach, the organization. They've built a winning culture there. So just seems really weird. I don't know all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Doesn't seem like there's any up front. There obviously has to be something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten canned. But this could be – the scary part about this one, the Grizzlies one, I still don't understand. And basically, Chase, you're spot on with, like, no one's safe, and it doesn't really make sense why. But the Nuggets one, this could be the potential, especially if they have, like, a first or second round exit in this year's postseason. This could unravel their organization and set them back for the next 8 to 10 years, potentially, what comes out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with what happened with the Mavericks going from the finals and then trading Luka this year at the deadline, anything's on the table, it feels like, especially when you get a new coach and GM in there. They're not all these all the players that they're inheriting aren't their guys, most likely, unless they're promoting somebody, which it doesn't seem like they are. But you got to wonder. Obviously, I don't think they're going to trade Jokic, but it seems like their team could be totally reworked or however they decide to do it if they, like you said, fail in the playoffs. But it's really kind of wild. And as a Sixers fan, I don't hate Nick Nurse, but a guy like a coach enters the market like this, and it's like gets my ears perked up a little bit. It's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe Nick Nurse also wants to go find get this bad taste out of his mouth. Nothing, just no bad intentions anywhere. It's just, hey, let's walk away from this. Didn't work out. Didn't work out on our end. Didn't work out on your end. And then see how it goes. But obviously, that's just a Sixers fan point of view. But it is really wild that these coaches, it seemed like they would be in a position for so long, and now they have no power, it seems like, at all anymore. It's just totally gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Like, I know there was some. I looked at the standings, and I know like 4 through 8. I think like the Nuggets, they still have potential to not even get in they only can get in through the play-in potentially, depending on how that shakes out. I mean, you got Denver and through Memphis all the way down. They're all within a game. I don't know if you guys saw those standings.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I knew
it's not even like
Denver's 47-32, and then you have the Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, and Grizzlies all at 46 and 32. But it's still, they're going to be in the playoffs, and it's just he's unless there's something behind the scenes, which we joked about with the Grizzlies, but it's a weird move. So
I think salary cap's going up in the off season. It's just there's already so much. The NBA is already so volatile with the players and their 1-year contracts and team jumping in the trade deadlines. But now we're getting with the coaches too. And it's just, there's you have your couple one-off organizations, Spurs, Miami, spots where there's stability, but across the league, players, coaches, organizations, there's zero stability. And I feel like that's super unhealthy for the NBA. They're going through a stretch of we all just watched March Madness, and there's plenty of people who enjoyed that a hell of a lot more than the long, daunting NBA season with the NBA Cup edition and this, that, and the other thing. So the league's in a really tough spot here, and moves like this just add to it. I mean, I don't think it's good for the league. I don't think anything like this.
Yeah, and the NCAA said something to the schools about they're paying more coaches salaries that aren't with the same programs anymore than they are current staffs. And it's this is kind of a problem. It's fine that you can't find the right guy, but you're paying so much money to do this. You could be using this for other resources. And I kind of feel like the NBA can be the same way. I don't know how coaches' salaries work, if they're guaranteed or not, but the fact that Monty Williams got $70 million with the Pistons,
and they got fired after 1 year.
Yeah, and got fired after 1 year. It's that seemed like a bad thing then. And since then, it just seemed like it doesn't matter who the coach is for the longest time, whoever LeBron's coach was, you knew you had a limited time. You knew it was just a matter of time before something happens. LeBron fires you and finds a new coach. That was probably the hardest position to be in as a coach. Now it seems like every team does that to their coach, and it doesn't matter that they have LeBron or not. Just can you make this work? No matter what we put on the court, doesn't matter what position they're in. It's Nick Nurse with the Sixers. What are you gonna do? Obviously, you're just gonna ruin your own statistics by taking on a team like this year. It's you can't do anything about it. And if the team fires you, then it just looks like you didn't meet any expectations, and it's kind of not true at the same point. But
and it feels like an NBA problem. I look around other leagues, and this isn't happening at the same rate. Teams that win. There's cases here and there, but for the most part, teams that win don't just fire their coach, especially the firings when it's 4 days before a playoff run. The whole goal is to get through the playoffs, get to the finals. The Nuggets, the West is not they could still, but it's harder now. They could have made a run to the finals. The West doesn't have a clear cut. I mean, no one's talked about Houston, who's in the 2 spot. No one's talked about Houston at all this year.
That's a beatable 2-spot team.
They could easily get through. So
especially with their experience.
Yeah, and Murray. Yeah, you got Murray, who tends to be a different player in the playoffs, and
I feel Jokic is going to turn it up.
Yeah, and if I'm a player, I feel like my organization has given up on us as a team, that they don't trust us to make a run, and that's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hockey is definitely the sport where they give the interim coach bump, but I don't even think hockey teams have been firing coaches days before the playoffs. I could be definitely wrong about that, but I don't know. Recent memory, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of times where they definitely do that in the middle of the year where this team's underperforming. We got to switch gears, and there's teams that get a little success from that, but for basketball, it doesn't really seem to work that way. Just because it's such a smaller roster and seems more personal.
We'll keep monitoring it, and we'll keep. I mean, I understand changes that might happen in the off season. That's normal, but these are weird. So we'll see. See how the Nuggets do in the playoffs with a new coach for the last 4 games of the year. I mean, I know it'll be someone who's been around the team, but still. So,
Yeah.
all right. You wanna talk some more about about basketball while we're here?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the Nuggets and Jamal Murray. One of the most Jamal Murray comps, in my opinion, Walter Clayton on Florida.
I like that. Yeah.
Got some bounce to his step once the ball in his hands late in games, can finish around the rim, can hit the occasional three when need be, and freaking what a run for Florida.
Trailing in so many games late.
So many. I know you got the bug. You got hit by the Florida bug.
Texas Tech, I mean, man, a lot of teams just couldn't finish.
But
yeah, I think it was really impressive, especially the way Houston beat Duke to hold them to basically no points the last half of the
ridiculous.
game. Yeah, that was crazy, and you'd expect that they'd be able, if they could do that to Duke, they could probably do it to Florida. And Florida just went out there, and it's like feels unimpressive in a way, just because it's like they just slug it out. But at the same time, it's like, wow, this is crazy that they're able to do this to a team that you know what their capabilities are. And it's not like they were two weak teams that ended up finding a good path. It was like these guys both took out serious teams in order to get here. So it really felt like the best matchup possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it was 4-1s in the Final Four. We talked about how chalky it was. But Florida's one of those teams. None of us had them winning it all. I think most of us had them losing early on. I mean, they had to go through UConn, the two-time defending champs. Texas Tech was on a great crash course there to potentially make a run.
And all their games were within score, too.
Yeah, and in a game where it's single elimination, you got to win 6. And they went 6-0 essentially. I know the game won, but the other 4 to 5 games were highly competitive. And yeah, they're not like one of the ones. I think people thought Duke, Auburn potentially, if they didn't have the injuries, could be on a crash course, but ended up being Florida and Houston, and both deserving. The biggest takeaway for me was Houston just didn't have that guy. Not that Walter Clayton carried him at the end of the championship game, but Houston's last 2 possessions, not even a shot attempt. I think they had like 2 turnovers at half, and it wasn't until like the last 8 to 10 minutes of the game they started racking up turnovers and fouls, which ultimately cost them in their last 2 possessions. 2 turnovers, 0 shots. I mean, someone's just got to take the ball and shoot it, and that was the difference. Florida had guys that were willing to do that, and I mean that's why they came out on top. So I think it's their 3rd national championship. Joakim Noah carried them for back-to-back back in the 2000s. So Houston's still searching for number 1. Their track record of choking in the tournament continues.
Yeah. Yeah, at least they seem to be moving a little bit forward, even though they're choking, but still, for Florida, yeah, props. It's been a while since they've been dominant, like Ryan was saying with Joakim Noah era teams. I mean, that's
and their
long
last
ago.
loss was February 25th. They just went on a absolute ridiculous run.
Yeah.
And outside of beating up on Norfolk State and Maryland, they beat UConn by 2. They beat Texas Tech by 5. They beat Auburn by 6, and they beat Houston by 2.
Yeah.
So all within 2 scores potentially.
So
yeah, I mean, I would like hopefully next year. Definitely a big fan of not being all number ones.
It won't happen again. You're so worried about it happening.
I'm worried the NIL is screwing up the.
No.
Okay, I hope you're right.
But where there's always chalkiness is the women's side. It's so much that I don't know if you guys saw someone pick 62 or 63 picks right. They missed a first round matchup, but
I think a 2 seed won, right? Am I wrong? 2 seed won the whole thing.
Yeah,
not
2
so
seed.
Chalky, huh?
It's okay. When the 2 seeds UConn, they won how many? 12 championships.
They were still a 2 seed.
Paige Becker's she was at her 5th year. Juju Watkins was out. No, it was not. No, they deserved it. It's not as chalky as the men's. You're right. There was a 2 seed, and they were. I mean, Dawn Staley was undefeated in championship games. She's a dog. South Carolina had injuries of their own, but they happened a lot earlier in the year, so they battled through it back then.
UConn's so good though. Beckers, Sarah Strong, and Alyssa
AZ.
Fudd. Like Strong is a freshman, and she averaged like 19
Ridiculous.
and 10 like her freshman. Like she's going to be an absolute monster. UConn's always producing, top picks in the WNBA draft.
12 championships.
Yeah, Paige is going to be a wing, Dallas wing here soon in the next, probably the next like 10 days since the draft's coming up. You better get ready.
Yeah. Yeah. The turnaround is unreal.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah. In a way, it was cool though because there was no Philly teams that made the men's bracket, but it was two Philly related coaches that, at least on the women's side, were representing. That was pretty cool. Tie just to show like how strong Philadelphia roots are in basketball, and especially Gina Oriema. Like I know they kind of you can't even say they fell off. It was just I don't know. It's such a tough task to be the odds-on favorite every year that he's done it, pretty much, and the way that he's been able to win is so impressive. And I feel like it doesn't really get brought up as much as compared to even some of the men's coaches, but just transcending women's sports as a whole, it's like as a great head coach, he definitely has to be in there as like all-timer.
Yeah, and I'm a big UConn fan. I will say I don't love the sportsmanship all the time. Like there are some games that UConn has won like in a D1 game, they've won like 120 to like 30 something, and like legit D1 matchup. And I'm like, at some point you gotta let up a little bit. I'm all for like playing it out, but
I get it affects your ranking and stuff too. But yeah, it doesn't affect it too. It's not like college football where you need to win.
Yeah,
have like a 70-7 win to help as much.
Yeah, he just leaves the hunting dogs out all night.
Yeah. No, I mean, how long has Gino been there? Do you guys know?
40 years, right?
Probably, I think since the school started.
I mean,
he was a
like
charter member.
We're like, what's a good comp? Like Nick Saban, is he more?
I don't know. I just kind of like
he's better than Nick Saban.
Yeah.
He doesn't get talked about as much as Nick Saban. Well, I guess it's women's college.
Yeah.
Coaching.
I think I don't know. I would almost compare him and like Bill Belichick in a way because like just the fact they were repeating like that. That's the more like impressive thing.
His win-loss as a Division I basketball coach, he's 1,250 and 165.
That's absurd.
That is an 883% winning percentage.
I think next year I'm just going to put
Is that the most wins all time? That has to be the most women's win. That might be the most college wins of all time, right?
I don't know. This is though the last time they won was 2016, so there was a drought. A little drought.
Not sure. I guess I just remember them because that was with
Brianna Stewart.
Yeah, and they just
won because they won like 10 straight. Leading into that.
Well, they had the Sue Bird and Taurasi, which is when they had both of those when they won 2000, 2002, 3, and 4. And then they won back-to-back 2009, 10. And then they won with Brianna Stewart. They won 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016 with her.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's not even like they had not draftable people after that. They were still putting out top 5 picks every year since then.
Yeah.
So that's the other crazy part is the talent development too. It's not like he's just winning and it's people that want to do nothing. It's like these people, like these women are the face of the WNBA, most of them when they come into the league. Nonetheless, the fact they're playing in it for so long. I mean, Diana Taurasi is the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah.
By 10 miles.
He's going
It's not even close.
6 years.
That's
6 years. There's 6 separate years they went undefeated.
I don't even know who you compare. It's really not even comparable to anyone.
No.
I mean, at least in recent history, like I just think of Nick Saban because he backed up with the winning, and you have to be able to recruit in college and college football. You have to stay 3 years. Women's obviously they stay all 4, sometimes 5. But yeah, I mean, this is for sure. It doesn't seem as bad in recent history because, like Ben said, they've only had one chip in the last 8 to 10 years, but just the consistency is
Been to 24 Final Fours.
most by any men's or women's.
They went from 2008 to 2022. They went 14 straight years of getting at least reaching a Final Four.
That's just video games, and you're controlling the season.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that, even that in video games.
Yeah, like that's unbelievable to just dominate.
Yeah.
The only person I could think of that went back to back so many times since 2000 was like in NASCAR. Jimmy Johnson won 7. And I think he had 4 straight.
Ugh, dang.
But that's just racing, and there's a little bit more into that. But still, that's domination. I think anytime you can repeat, just to win 2
Yep.
is so hard. To win 3, I don't even know what the odds are for that. And to go 4 has to be like 0.1%. Like there has to be some ridiculous number.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. So
And before we quickly move on here, since we talked about the women's, I'll just two WNBA updates. Well, not just WNBA, Basketball Hall of Fame announced. WNBA had Sue Bird and Sylvia Fowles who got in, and then notable for the NBA, Carmelo, Hall of Famer Dwight Howard too, and then a couple others.
I feel old.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just yesterday, Dwight Howard was just carrying the Magic to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
And the other one for Ryan, Deladon officially announced her retirement.
No.
Are
you serious?
Yep. She's been battling some injuries, and they said she just didn't think she had anything left. So
in the last 2 years, in 2 sports, my all-time favorite players
your
have retired.
All-time favorite?
Andy Murray in tennis.
Oh, no.
And Elena Deladon in the WNBA.
Well, now you get to find a new favorite player in the WNBA.
Yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed, since she's from our area, Ryan, if we get a WNBA team, hopefully she becomes our coach, and then we can have like double rooting.
Oh, that would be really
cool. I think
cool.
she took some job in like the Mystics organization.
Perfect. She's getting great experience right now. She'll have just enough whenever we get a franchise. They'll be like, oh, she's needs to be a head coach, and we'll be starting up, and then we'll get her. That'll be perfect.
There you go.
And we called it.
Wow.
All right, well, moving on from March Madness, big moment in hockey, and that kind of made us want to look at a couple other records broken. Chase, I don't know if you want to quickly start about, obviously, Ovechkin career goal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Against the Islanders, but I think they were pretty gracious and willing to let that moment be the moment.
Yeah, in a game they were losing, they still get the goal. And talking about being old with the Basketball Hall of Fame, Ovechkin, 2003 NHL draft. I was in 3rd grade. Now he just broke a record that nobody thought was possible. And it just proves to you that he's not just an elite player. He's not just a superstar player. He's not just a franchise guy. He's like one of the all-time greats to ever play hockey. And we've just been able to watch his production and his one-timers and everything he's been able to do. So it was really cool to see. And he missed a lot of time this year, so it wasn't even guaranteed that he would get to this record at this point. Like, it feels like he got injured, came back, and then was just on a tear and was determined to get it. So it was really impressive. Still kind of just like in breaking all this, I feel like people think like, wow, Ovechkin and Gretzky probably on the same plane, probably equal.
No.
And no, like if you do a deep dive back into Wayne Gretzky and you're like, all right, well, let's just see the stats and like put Ovi up against it. It's not even really close. Like, yeah, they have the goals that are common, but even if you took away all of Wayne Gretzky's goals from his career, he'd still be the NHL's all-time leader in points.
Yeah.
So, and if you look, Ovechkin has 1,500 points in it about, and Gretzky has 2,800 points. So just his production alone, like his assist numbers are insane. Like he just did everything. It was the fact that he had 800 goals, and then it was like, oh yeah, he also just would have more goals, but he gave it to everyone else.
I don't know enough about hockey, but just looking at the initial page, it seems like he's always like right up there with like shots on goal too. Like I don't like comparing
He's
it
a
to like
volume
basketball,
shooter.
like
Yeah.
the basketball,
He's
he
a
just like
It's
shoots a
like
lot.
Carmelo
Yeah.
getting 20K points.
Yeah, he's just being James Harden from anywhere.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it true that I heard that he, no matter what, was finishing out his contract, which means he's playing next year? Then after that, he's not actually retiring. He wants to finish out of the KHL,
Yeah, I've heard that a
the
lot.
Russian
And
league. And like
yeah,
he's
and
just
a
gonna be
lot
like,
of people do that too. Like there's just been people who are like, I'm done in the AHL and they just went back to the KHL. Like Ilya Kovalchuk did that. There's been people that still had plenty left in the tank, and I feel like Ovi does,
yeah,
especially if he just stays in this role of being like I am what I am, but he's
crazy.
definitely not the physical force he was when he was just a menace. Like they don't make it's pretty rare that you get a hockey player of like that total package and blend and what he was able to do. And now I just think about him as the gray-haired guy, but what a legacy. He got a cup, which you don't really
Yep.
expect Washington to get. They're in
Yeah,
a good position to possibly get a second one. So
that'd be
that would be
crazy.
great for legacy wise of like, yeah, I got two cups and this. Like he could just go back to the KHL this summer. Like I think that would be a good way to just end your NHL career. Like I don't think it's gonna get much better
Yeah.
than that. Like what else do you want to do?
What's the MVP award called for like the hockey? Is
Uh
it the
the
Calder
heart
Cup?
yeah. There's a bunch. There's so many.
Gosh. Like what's like equivalent to like MVP? Like is there
Yeah.
one
It's the
award
Hart
for
Memorial Trophy.
the Hart Memorial Trophy is like the MVP?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it because I saw there's a lot of different ones.
Yeah. Gretzky
He's
has
definitely
nine.
great.
Oh my gosh.
I think
Nine-time MVP.
Ovechkin's got 3.
Yeah, let's
So
see here. Um Oh yeah, and he had 2 lockouts and COVID, so he could have broke this record maybe even like 3 years
Mm.
ago
yeah, that's true.
and been at 1,000 goals at this point. So there's been a lot to his career that alright, so he won it back to back, '07, '08, '08, '09.
Oh,
17 years later, he's still cooking.
17 years later. Yeah, most people probably thought, "Oh, he's probably got like 5 years left." Nah, not the
Yeah,
case at all. That's just he's one of those guys where it's like he just had the right blend of everything to have a successful career, and especially in a physical sport like hockey, like, there's sometimes where you have a hit and your career is over for no other reason than you just have an injury that's not rehabable, and it's no fault of anyone's, it's just that's the case for some
yeah.
people in hockey, and the fact he was able to go that long is crazy.
yeah,
Well,
for sure.
that's a crazy record that was broken, but we did look, and there was what 4 other records since 2020
Yeah,
that
just in recent
Yeah.
history
big
alone.
records. Not like there's obviously team records, things like that, but big league records.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
individual because like Chase said, Gretzky obviously, but Ovi passing him in goals is definitely an unbreakable record. And
you think so?
do
Yeah.
I thought
Do you
it
guys think
was
so?
I thought it was unbreakable, so I guess I have to back it up by saying it.
Well, Chase, you know hockey, like I guess the people now like Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid are probably the 2 guys. I'm assuming that would be like they're not close, but like the 2 guys trajectory wise that if they've had like 10 plus healthy years, maybe. But like again, that's asking
Yeah.
a lot. Like 10 plus healthy years at a rate of like 40 to 50 goals a year.
Yeah, it's like because I pulled up the list to see who's still active. Sidney Crosby, think of him as a guy who puts up a lot of points. He's at 622 goals. He's
Oh,
pretty much at the end of his
I was
career.
gonna say he's like cooked.
Yeah, he's pretty much done. Let's see if I can.
If you think it, in my opinion, if I say it's an unbreakable record and it gets broken, it just automatically will get coined to be unbreakable with the next guy. And I bet you when we go through this list of the other 4 since 2020, I'll think the same way
Yeah.
then.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. There's really no one on this list that I think is going to be able to get to that number. Like, there's
Yeah,
just
Ben's probably
it's
right. You have
gonna.
to almost go
Yeah,
younger. You have to go
Yeah,
a lot farther down.
yeah, it's because there's people on here, and it's like maybe, but I don't. There's no real guarantee. Like it's gonna be possibly a while before we see somebody get close to it. Like
Yeah.
so, just
And
yeah.
Ovechkin's still going.
Yeah.
And he's still going, so he could
that-
push this thing further.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna. I would guess he hits 900. That's like that. We're about to dive into it, but right now, Wayne Gretzky 894. If he plays in today's sports, where stats mean so much more, he's gonna play until he hits 900, right?
I think so.
You probably knew then, though. It's not like it was that old. He was in the 2000s when he was still playing, right?
Yeah, but did records and stuff mean? I
I
don't
feel like they did in 2000.
A lot more
I think the
stat
difference. I
patterns
think the
nowadays.
difference is like his body probably was just giving out, whereas like now you can
Yeah.
have a guy like Derrick Henry who pays $200,000 a year for his body, and it's like if Wayne Gretzky was determined to, he could have like have the access and the technology that they have now, and it's like I mean Tom Brady played till he was 45 as a quarterback. Like I feel like the tech wise, like Gretzky probably just that was it. Like that was the max of whatever that time was,
Yeah,
whenever the
good
last
point.
year
Good
was.
point.
But I think think there's probably a lot of guys who, if you give them the medical technology that they have now, they would have been playing like even longer or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's talk about the four other.
Yeah. Let's rank them.
Yeah. Rank them. Okay. Well, where's Ovechkin then? If we know the 5, where's
We'll
where are we
list them
putting
out.
Ovechkin?
Let's go over the other notable in the last
Okay.
5 years.
We got Aaron Judge broke the AL home run record.
Oh,
Least least in my opinion.
It was a big deal for the Yankees and the MLB and the half of the league.
Yeah.
It'll just be more impressive when he does it with a torpedo bat this year.
Yeah.
What else we got?
We got Brady all-time passing record. All-time passing yards. Pretty impressive. Curry, most threes of all time, and then of course LeBron, most points of all time. I'm gonna say number 5 is Aaron Judge. That's just
I'm with you.
I agree.
like that. Yeah. All right.
It's bottom 5 too.
All right, keep it rolling, Ben. What's your number 4 spot?
Oh, 4 is a tough one.
You got in the number 4 hole.
It's a tough one.
It's got to be
I'm gonna go. I feel like this is gonna be controversial. I'm gonna go Curry.
Yep, I'm putting Curry at the 4. Yeah.
Okay. A slight difference. I'm gonna go Brady at the 4 just because I think in modern day football,
He's gonna be my 3.
it's just I'm basing it off of what I think is breakable and unbreakable. I think Brady's is breakable. I think Curry's is unbreakable. So I'm putting Brady at my 4, and I'm putting Curry in my 3 spot. And is that?
I would put Brady in my 3.
Okay.
So I don't.
Yeah. I think I might put Brady a little higher just because.
Okay.
The Steph Curry thing, I feel like the 3 ball got so inflated at his time, and he was obviously a part of that revolution. So I feel like it's not going to be as impressive when so many other guys like get to that point. Like I think there's going to be a onslaught of people that are able to do it just because that's the way basketball's moving. Unfortunately, I think for Brady, the thing that it's like definitely a record that's going to get broken just because of the way the league's going. It's more of a passing league, but at the same time, I think all those yards are impressive because he did it with so many people and not just having a standout one guy I mean, obviously he had Edelman, he had Wes Welker, he had Randy Moss, and Gronk, but they were all really short if you look at it like career wise. Like it's not like he had them for so many consecutive years. Like they overlapped a bit, and even just having the record of throwing touchdowns to people on the board. So yeah, I feel like I'd put him a little bit higher of Curry, but still it's gonna be a breakable record.
Who would you have in your 3 spot then, Chase?
I don't know. It's kind of tough.
It's tough when you get towards the top.
You got Braun,
I know.
Brady, and Ovechkin.
Yeah. I might put LeBron at 3.
Okay.
I know it's controversial,
All right,
but
Ryan, your 2 spot.
That's super controversial. In the 2 spot, this one's really tough. Honestly, I don't want to pick between LeBron and Ovechkin. Two records I felt as a kid were never be broken. Just because of the way points go, I will. This is me saying this as a basketball fan. I'm putting LeBron in my 2 and Ovechkin in my 1. I think all 3 of my top 3, Curry, LeBron, and Ovechkin's, I think those are 3 records that I will die, and those 3 people will still be in first place. Really hard to mix and match those. But the longevity of LeBron and Brady inflates it a tad for me. I know Ovechkin obviously has been there forever too. But hockey guys can play for a long time. And the fact that he still got to break Gretzky's record, one of the best players in the 4 major sports ever. So got to put Ovi in my number 1.
Okay. I'm flip-flopping. I had LeBron on my 1 and Ovi in my 2. I just think not the longevity with LeBron, but just the way, like, he's not just out there just scoring points to score points. Like, he's still effective. He's still really good in the league. And just to be doing at the level he is at his age, and to still just be trucking in this gap.
Trucking.
He's making this gap wider and wider and wider. So I just had to put LeBron at 1. Chase, you have your top 2 still.
Yeah, I'll put Ovi at the 1, and just because I feel like we went over the numbers, just doesn't seem statistics like we can even find somebody that's close. And then I just looked up the all-time passing leaders. Brady's at 89,000. Second was Drew Brees with 80,000. The next closest person that's active is Rodgers with 62,000.
No.
So
okay, so a lot lower than I thought.
It does, yeah. It was. I thought it was going to be closer, but and the rest of the people that are active on this list is Matthew Stafford at 10, Russell Wilson at 17, Joe Flacco at 18, and there's no one else. There's no one else on here that's currently playing that's on the top 20 passing yard leaders of all time. But that's not to say Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes can't end up on this list. That's definitely possible. Who knows how long they're going to be able to play for? Because they air it out.
And who knows? Like the money's so nice for quarterbacks now. Like, how long do you want to play?
Do you actually want to do it for? Yeah, like that's it.
Like Mahomes gets another ring at some point. You get like, what's he have? 3 now? 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at what point do you made like $600 million? Like, you just want to enjoy life. Like, at some point, just.
Yeah, and I'm and LeBron's too is still really impressive. Like, that mark is not gonna. I don't think these top 3. It's like it's gonna take somebody extraordinary. Pretty much extraordinary is the people that did it to get past those numbers. And it's like, I can't really point the finger at somebody right now, currently today, that's in the league that feels like they're going to be able to do that. Like, I don't know. If you guys had to guess for scoring, who would be the guy? I don't even know where to start with that.
Closest, but he doesn't have much left.
Yeah, so he's probably out.
I don't think LeBron's is.
I mean, it's all these records. I mean, the craziest part about this is all these records feel. And I know that
the other thing is you can't go right from high school. It already takes a year off.
Yeah.
These days, at least right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors, and you're starting to hear. I mean, for me, the 3-pointer, you're starting to hear rumors about the NBA. They don't want teams just chucking them up all game during the regular season, and I don't know how you adjust that, but there's already rumors with that. And yeah, the Brady thing's a lot more ridiculous than I thought, especially now that these teams like to put together these like 9-minute fat time killing drives.
Yeah.
You rail like have 2 to 3 backs, and so that's to be all 4 besides the Aaron Judge one are very impressive records. It's pretty cool that it's all happened literally in the last half a decade. And
we're so spoiled.
Yeah, this is what's really. I mean, we're in a really good age of sports. I mean, not that the Jordan in the 90s, there's plenty great eras for different sports, but now we have like the records factor that wasn't really a factor in the past generations. And I mean, we all say, right, there's some MLB records that will never even be touched from like 1937.
Physically not possible.
Yeah. But it's It's fun, and this is pretty cool. And I like the little mini debate we had there.
Yeah. So to summarize quick, Ryan had Ovi, LeBron, Curry, Brady, and Judge. Chase had Ovi, Brady, LeBron, Curry, and Judge, and I had LeBron, Ovi, Brady, Curry, and Judge.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yep.
some
Yeah,
I
we
agree.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that was fun. Moving on quick. We got two last quick updates, two very different sports. We'll start with baseball. Quick update. Been nice to see the Braves still struggling.
Oh yeah.
Phillies look off to a great start for you guys. Mets off to a great start too. Both of our pitching staffs have been playing really well. Mets have allowed only like less than 30 runs so far in the league, which is pretty nuts.
Always have a chance to win with that.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say really.
I think the biggest thing is both of our teams in recent years, even with these good teams, these playoff teams we've had, is the first 2 to 3 to 4 months have been rough.
Yeah.
Except
last year for you guys. You guys were.
Yeah, but a lot of times in the beginning of the year, one of the other teams, the star players, a lot of slow starts. Harper, Lindor,
and the Nats have been cooking the Dodgers. I don't know what's going on.
Dodgers got the injury bug early, though. Freddie Freeman.
Okay. I don't feel bad for them at all. They signed like 30,000 depth pieces. They can figure it out.
They can. I shouldn't make an excuse. Terrible call. Thank you for putting me in my place.
Yeah.
They signed Michael Conforto to a $17 million contract this year just because they could.
Do you miss him?
Conforto?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean,
yes, you do.
Conforto?
Yeah.
I mean, I miss Wilmer Flores more than Michael Conforto. Wilmer Flores has consistently just been chilling in every lineup he's been in and hits like 15 to 20 home runs every year and plays like 140 games every
year. Is he the one that was crying in the game because he thought the Mets traded him to the Brewers?
Yep, I'm pretty sure he's just been trucking for the Giants, and I'm pretty sure he leads the league in home runs right now. Like he just is consistent every year. And I miss him.
That was crazy. Why did the Mets ever get rid of him?
Well, they didn't actually trade him that time.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, they made him think that they were going to trade him. So now, like, whatever happened, why did he end up leaving the Mets?
He's a free agent.
Oh. That money came calling. That must have been before Steve Cohen took over.
Yeah. His contracts aren't even expensive either. But he's just He's just pretty consistent as far as what he's going to give you, except last year where he was injured a lot. But other than that,
yeah,
everybody has that year.
Yeah.
Any high level news? I mean, last week there was a lot going on, baseball wise. Any what to watch for? Any?
I mean, I would say the biggest thing so far that I've seen. We talked about I talked to you guys about the Reds. They had 3 straight games where they lost 1-0. That was they were in a weird place for a while there. I think the biggest story still is just the West and how competitive it's been. You have the Padres at 9-2, Giants at 8-2, and the Dodgers at 9-3. And then the Braves are just continuing to still struggle to find their footing. They did play the Dodgers, but they also played the Marlins, and still were only able to get 1 win out of that series. Granted, they only played 2 games, but still. Playing the Phillies tonight, they're already down. I'd love to see them start out real slow and not, if it's the Mets and Phillies in a 2-horse race, we could both make the playoffs and see you guys then.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I've been enjoying the Phillies. They're generating runs in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
Sosa's been a great piece, and he's been scorching hot, and I've loved every minute of it because he's such a great defensive stud already. Love having him in the lineup every day. It's been fun. It's been weird being this into baseball in April, but I haven't watched a Sixers game in weeks. Don't probably watch one more just to watch one more. But yeah,
as a Mets, the Mets as a team have like a 1.7 ERA. Their bullpen has been like untouchable. Like, this is a great start for them. I don't expect this to stay this way. But I expected their starting pitching to be their struggle because they had Frankie Montes and Sean Manaea, their two biggest starting pitching free agent acquisitions, both starting on the IL. So for that to be how they start the year, Soto's like, it's weird. He's struggled. He looks like he's struggled. He doesn't look like himself at the plate. But then I looked at his stats today, and he's still hitting 308. Like he's clearly struggled. Like it looks like when I've been watching pretty much every game as much as I can for the Mets, and he doesn't look like himself on the like. He's hitting a lot of singles. He's not driving the ball the same. Granted, it's been cold. So like there's a ball he hit today that I thought had a chance, and it died real quick with the wind, and it was 30 degrees in New York today. But he's hitting 308 and doing a lot better than I thought. So the other thing is Alonso he got off to a scorching start. He usually doesn't get off to a scorching start. I don't know if he saw Vlad Guerrero's big contract, which I guess that's something we could talk about. Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
$500 million. Pete Alonso is probably licking his chops. He's older than Guerrero, but I mean, Alonso's starting off real hot, hitting over 300 for him, which is huge. He's already got like 14 RBIs, I think, 3 or 4 home runs. So the one I'm worried about for the Mets is Vientos. He looks super lost up there. Swung today on a 3-0 pitch when he had runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs, and grounded out. Just doesn't look like himself at the plate, not like the same swag that he had in that playoff run in his year last year. So Lindor, Soto, and Alonso giving contributions, but the rest of the lineup is really struggling. Their pitching has been good. So we'll see. They've played the Marlins twice now, and then they play the Athletics next. I want to see them play when they play the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Padres and see how they respond to that.
Hey, wins are wins. You rack them up now. April wins matter. So.
Yeah. Anyway, end of my update for the Mets.
I like it.
All right. Do you guys want to end quick with a NASCAR update, Chase? Well, I say you guys, but probably most.
Yeah, I'm down for it. This past weekend, throwback weekend in Darlington, perfect racetrack to do it at. It's a track that pretty much everyone gets frustrated with. Kyle Larson easily, he crashed on lap 4, pretty much put himself 160 laps down, got back out, crashed again with 4 laps to go. So just one of those types of days. Especially for a guy who's been so dominant on the year, this track will just do that to people. And that was really just one storyline. William Byron dominated first 2 stages. He was just unbelievable. There was nothing he could do wrong. And then come last stage, it starts to cycle around. He starts to lose it. Ryan Blaney gets up to him. Looks like he's going to win it. Then he starts to fall off. And then there's a late caution. Dooms everybody except for Denny Hamlin. He puts himself in a great position. And, again, is able to go back-to-back weeks early in the season, get wins. He seems to do this a lot, especially with the Southern tracks, Virginia ones, more specifically. But, he puts himself on. He started a year off really cold, I would say. Just didn't have didn't seem like they were having the finishes that they wanted. And then they come out firing the last 2 weeks. They look like they're really in a good position, especially their team as a whole. So, got to give it to them. Moving into this weekend, they're going to Bristol. So again, another short track. This is really a great stretch of NASCAR. Just the tracks that they're picking and the way they have it laid out. It's just they're action-packed tracks. They're really going to get these guys fired up and pissed off at each other because there's just no forgiveness with either of these tracks. And there's been a lot of bonehead moves, so you can expect them to really boil over this weekend at a tiny track in Bristol. Later this year, cool thing about Bristol, we're going to get a baseball game there that we've talked about a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's going to be pretty cool. I think it's the Reds and Braves, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Taking place there. So if you want to get a feel for what it's going to be like to plop a baseball field in the middle of this track, this would be a good weekend to check it all out. But it's going to be a good one. Standings wise, we'll just run through it real fast. William Byron still at the top. Strong performances have been keeping him there, especially with the 2 stage wins this weekend. Denny Hamlin jumped up a lot. He's in second place now. He's basically not even anywhere in the playoff standings, and now he put himself in a really good position. Christopher Bell, my pick for the year. Chase Elliott at number 4. Tyler Reddick at the 5. Kyle Larson at 6. So
a lot of bulk
not
wins
too
up
bad.
there. Less parity this year so far.
Yeah, it really started to spread around with guys who were getting wins, and then obviously Christopher Bell runs off 3 straight, Denny Hamlin breaks off 2. Sandwiched in between a Josh Berry win. So
That's
yeah,
true.
it seemed like there was going to be a lot of winners this year, but so far it seems like the guys who are finding the end of the track are definitely the ones who have been the dominants on the year. So we'll see. This track is going to bring a lot to it's going to be really wide open. It's probably going to come down to a late caution again. It's been NASCAR's crutch. I don't know what it is, but they seem to always find themselves in a position where it has to be an overtime finish. So it is what it is. They burn up through the end, though, so it doesn't matter the strategy. It just kind of lays where you lie. You can be in first place, and then you have to run 4 extra laps, and now the guy who's in 10th is in third and has a chance to win it. So it's just one of those things where it's really about luck, and we'll see. But hopefully, we need Chase Elliott to do some big moves. He's been close. He's been running top 5. I think he has one of the best average finishing positions on the year. So just needs to get that a little bit higher, find himself in victory lane. I feel like he can do it here at Bristol. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update, Chase.
Yeah, always.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone for listening. However you're watching it, if you're watching it after, I think good show today. We got everything, try to get everything as well as we could, concise as possible. With a lot to talk about. Could probably have talked for a lot longer too.
Yeah.
So, cool. Well, we appreciate everyone, and we will see you guys next week for episode 103.
Deuces.
Peace.